So welcome to today's video. I'm really sorry if I sound very funny because I really have a nasty cold and yeah, my health situation. I wrote that on YouTube wasn't very good in the last weeks, but I really wanted to make this video, and I hope you can oversee my voice and that I am constantly have some coughing bonbons in my mouth because otherwise I would cough a lot. So today we are looking at manganese violets, and the pigment code is PV16. It is also known as manganese ammonium pyrophosphate, and I have 8 different colors we will take a look at. 6 of them are single pigment colors. One is a double pigment mix, and one is a kind of a special form of manganese violet. So while we do our swatching, I, like always, will tell you a little bit about the pigment. We are starting swatching with the manganese violet from Schmincke Horadam, and you can already see that it's a more bluish shade of violet. We have definitely some more blue. Some of the manganese violets are more in this bluish kind of violet shade, and some of them are more on the red side of a violet. So you can also see a very big difference the um, in the color between the Schmincke Horadam I'm swatching now and the Schmincke Akademie we will be swatching afterwards. In Schmincke Akademie, the color is called violet, and you will get it as a single pan or tube to buy, depending on where you live, or you can buy it in Schmincke Akademie set, but it is not in the 12 half pan sets, it is only in the 24 half pan sets. So just that you know this. Of course, Schmincke Akademie is a student grade paint, so the pigment load is not as high as in the Schmincke Horadam. That we can definitely see. But like I said, the temperature of the color is definitely different between those two, which is interesting. Also, the Schmincke Akademie colors are vegan, which the Schmincke Horadam is not. So that could at least be interesting for vegans who want to try Schmincke colors. Also, it is super rare. I think I don't know any other student grade line which offers a true manganese violet color, because manganese pigments are more on the expensive side, and normally in student grade paints you don't find any expensive pigments like cadmiums or cobalts. We always have hues, which means they're using other pigments which look like the original one. So yeah, that is definitely something different, something special. So the next one I'm swatching is the one from Rembrandt, which is the artist grade line from Royal Talents, and they call it Manganese Violet, or in German it is Mangan Purpur, manganese purple or purpur. I don't know if purpur have an English name as well. But I really like the one from Rembrandt because it granulates so much. That is really awesome. You can see it afterwards when I show you the close-up from all the swatches when they are completely dried. This is a cellulose paper as always, but I will do a swatch as well on a 100% cotton cold pressed paper from Arches as well. So when we are ready, finished this kind of swatches, then we will do it on the cotton paper. So, okay, to the pigment. On handprint, it is listed as a top 40 pigment. It is very light fast, semi-transparent, lightly staining, dark valued, a moderately dull red-violet, and it has a moderately drying shift. It is an inorganic pigment, a double salt of phosphoric acid with manganese and ammonium. It has a red shade to a blue shade variation. So, and the next thing is most of the brands label it as untoxic, which is strange because all manganese pigments normally are listed as toxic. So I'm not quite sure why they always list manganese violet as untoxic, because on pigment sellers like Crema Pigmente, it is listed as toxic, and that it is oh damn it, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce, not how to pronounce, how to translate this one. We'll have to look it up. It is suspected that it is not good for your health, so it can be health damaging. That is listed on Crema. So I personally treat it as a toxic pigment, better safe than sorry, I think. So yeah, just that you know this. The one I'm swatching now, that is the two pigment variation. It is the mineral violet from Mgram, and it is a combination of PV16 manganese violet and PV15, which is ultramarine violet. The reason why I didn't include it in the ultramarine series is it looks from its color definitely like manganese violet, probably because the manganese ratio is maybe higher. It is also listed as the first pigment, so normally that is the pigment which has the higher concentration. And of course, it is a much more darker pigment than an ultramarine violet. It is a very delicate pigment, so the manganese is definitely overpowering it. So that is the reason why I did include it here. And now the next that I'm swatching is a very, very special one, because it is from a handmade brand, and it is a historical leftover pigment. So when it is completely used up, when all this is sold, then you won't be able to get this special kind of shade. And it is really, really different. You can already see it in comparison to the Schmincke Horadam up in the upper row. It is completely different. It is the most reddish manganese violet I have ever seen. And I think it is stunningly beautiful. It granulates awesomely as well. And yeah, I'm so glad to have this color. So yeah, some other informations. It is also known as Nürnberger violet. So Nuremberg is a city in southern Germany, very famous for its Christmas market. Don't know if you heard of it. And also known for the trials for the in the after Second World War, where they held the trials against the worst Nazi people. So there you might already heard about the city. And it is known because as a Nuremberg violet, because it was first produced in Nuremberg in 1868. And I have a little bit different information found on another site, so I'm not quite sure which is. I think what I mean with first produced is that it is really the first production, but not the mass production, because the first mass production was in 1890, so a few years later by Messrs. Winsor and Newton. That was the name from Winsor and Newton in the late 19th century. Today we don't have the name Messrs. In the brand name. It is just Winsor Newton, but it is the same brand. And I also found out that it was created by a person called E. Lykoff in 1866. I think that is, he first documented the color, so I think he either created it or documented it, and yeah, it was really hard to find more information about that. So if you have more information, please let me know. The color I'm swatching now is the Manganese Violet from Roman Schmal, and you can see here also it is more the bluish shade, which are most of today's Manganese Violets are more on the bluish side, and the ones on the really reddish side are very, very not many are on the reddish side, and when they are on the reddish side, they are not that much on the reddish side like the historical pigment is. So the next one is from Paul Rubens. I absolutely love Paul Rubens, but this color is the absolute cut-offs. Oh, damn it. Catastrophe? I'm sorry. I think you know what I mean. Can't talk properly today, it seems, because it doesn't re-wet. It is, you can see, I barely have any color on the paper. I can scrub like mad on this pen I show you, and you barely get any pigment on the on the brush. I absolutely have no clue what happened here, if it's only my pen, because it is the only PV16 pigment I have from Paul Rubens, and normally all my Paul Rubens paints are revetting like a dream. I never had any problem except for this one. They call it violet. So I would really, really love to know if some of you have a PV16 from Paul Rubens. Do you have also any problems with the color? Do you have it in a pan or in a tube? How is the rewettability from the tube if you have tried it in a pan or a palette? Really, really would love to know that, because it really drives me totally mad. Never had a color in any brand, even the worst, cheapest paints that revet so badly. It is really like a brick. I don't know. Really, really don't know what happened there. So, important to know is that it is light fast, but it is very sensitive to alkalic. That is always the problem. Some of the information I found on German sites, and some I found on English sites, and then my notes are part German, part English, and sometimes I forget to write down the English alkaline, so the English translation. It is sensitive to alkaline and acidic binding agents. And that is important for us watercolorists, because gum arabic is slightly acidic, as well as oil binding agents are, for example. So it can be that the color, because of that, changes over time a little bit. That is just something to know, I think, which is important. So, and this one is a special kind of manganese violet. This is the purpurite genuine from Daniel Smith. So it is part of the Primatech line. And a lot of the Primatech colors are not that special. There are a lot of colors which have other colors which are very close in color or in hue, so that you don't have to buy it. Of course, you never have to buy anything, but it may be not as interesting. But this year is very special. At least I don't know any other color, any other brand offering violet with this kind of color shade. And the reason why have included is I've seen the video from Kimberly Crick years ago about this color, and this is the natural variation of manganese violet. Every pigment which is sourced through any kind of mining, you have to clean it, you have to get rid of the of particles which are not part of the pigment itself, because of course when you are digging in the earth, you don't have only the pigment, you have other earth particles as well. And this kind of dirt is cleaned out of the pigments before the pigment goes to the art material brands like Schmincke or Daniel Smith. And they clean it through special things like that's also something I don't know, which is the exclude. Okay, nee, that's not the right one. It only translated as muddy, which is not the correct translation, I think. There is in German, there is a special wording for it when you have the natural source and then you are doing a special kind of washing to get rid of the particles you don't want and only have the brightest pigment particles left. And this is done to this natural form, and then you get the sources the variations we see. And what I found out about Purpurite genuine is that it was discovered in 1905, and it is named after the Latin word purpura, which yeah, and it is listed as an intensive lavendel violet, but I think it is definitely not lavendel, or at least every kind of lavendel I know has a absolutely different color, and all lavendel watercolors also have a different kind of violet, so I'm not sure why they have listed it like that, but it is semi-transparent. It is a natural mineral with a very low shiny metallic shimmer to it, and it is also listed as light fast one, so best light fastness. So that is the Arch cold pressed 100% cotton watercolor paper, and the first two are Schmincke Horadam, Schmincke Akademie. This is Rembrandt, and the next should be the historical handmade paint. So it is a monocline crystal structure in its alpha polymorph version, and a tricline crystal structure in its beta form. And Claude Monet relied on PV16 in his Rouen Cathedral series to further explore shadows. So it is definitely a color which we see in old paintings as well. So that is, yeah, all the information. Oh no, one last is it is also used in ceramics and cosmetics, and that is definitely something I can say. It is suspicious or to be damaging to your health. I definitely wouldn't want to use cosmetics which have a PV16 in it. So yeah, sadly you never get any pigment information when you are buying like stuff like eyeshadows or lipstick. But yeah, definitely something I think we should be aware of. So yeah, this is the historical pigment, and you can see on this paper as well how different the color is. The one I'm swatching now is the one from Roman Szmal, and the last one will be the very catastrophic version of Paul Rubens, which is a little bit better on this paper. I found it very streaky on the very smooth cellulose paper. It looks definitely better here on the cotton paper, but that is definitely something I've seen with a lot of colors over time, that even the worst watercolor colors look much better on cotton paper than on cellulose paper. It is still very soft in its color, but it is not as streaky as it is on the, or I don't see any streakiness, to be honest, here in this swatch, in comparison to the cellulose paper. But it definitely won't ever be my favorite version of Manganese Violet. But at least it looks better here. So after this test, I probably won't ever use, when I'm using it, then I will definitely use it on cotton paper. So in the two different versions, the two pigment mix and the purpurite genuine, I will put on another piece of ash paper that are leftovers from where I cut it, the paper down for my viewer rewards I'm doing on Twitch. Viewer rewards when you are gathering enough channel points to draw an Accio card of your choosing, and from cutting a big sheet of ash paper, this was leftover paper, so yeah, there are also small pieces of that paper I'm using because it is just so expensive that my Swabian part comes out and says, don't throw it away, you can still use something like that. Swabia is a part of southern Germany which is very known for being very clingy to their money and trying to get the best of out of everything with spending the least amount of money. So that is something I always joke about, that it comes out in parts like this. So, and what I must say on the ash paper here, the purpurite genuine looks very, very awesome because the granulation is much stronger than on the cellulose paper. It looks also more beautiful. I think for the others, I should have used more water to get the granulation effect showing, to get it more granulation effect. But yeah, It is also depending on how much pigment or water you are using. Of course, also the kind of paper you're using has a huge impact on how the color looks on your paper. And even when you say have another brand of cotton paper, then it still can look different because we also have a lot of different in the papers between paper brands. Or even within one brand, you can have so many different papers. So yeah, has a very, very huge impact on how colors look like. But it is definitely in all variations a very, very beautiful pigment. We don't have a lot of granulating violets, so that is definitely something I think is very special, especially when you're looking at other granulating violets like ultramarine violet or cobalt violet, which are very, very soft and delicate in their color. So the manganese violet really can get very dark, and that is something the others don't. So yeah, I really, really love it, and you can use it for so many great and awesome things, like doing your own supergranulation version. So this is from Winsor & Newton. It is their PV16 color. They call it permanent mauve. And the swatch I showed before was from the from Blocks. That's a company from Belgium. So that was the two dot cards version I have, where I don't have a tube or a pen. So like I said, the close-up, you can see here now the granulation of the Rembrandt version is stunningly. And how different this historical leftover pigment is. Really, really beautiful. And yeah, now you can see how streaky the Paul Rubens version is. I really, really don't know what happens to it, what makes this so different. Here we have the little swatches on the cold press paper, 100% cotton from Arches. You can see the beautiful granulation and the different color shades. And look how stunning the purpurite genuine looks and how beautiful the granulation is on that color. So yeah, that was it for Manganese Violet. Leave me a comment about your experience with this color, and give me, if you want, a thumbs up or a follow. That is always so much appreciated because it really, really helps me and the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye. Take good care of yourself.